Meagan Thee Stallion makes a song called Mamushi while wearing Gucci, eating sushi.
We shall paint on the beaches. We shall paint on the landing grounds. We shall paint in the fields and on the streets.
Jim Carrey wants you to buy the most uncomfortable chair you would sit on.
It's been a rough week for statues, kidnappings, beheadings, and vengeful gods. Oh my.
From Southern California's largest paint and sip studio, Spotlight with Purple Easel.
Welcome to Purple Easel Spotlight, where we put the spotlight on artists and creatives. My name's Latoya.
And I'm Megan.
And we're both art instructors here at Purple Easel, California's largest paint and sip studio ever. And today we're going to be talking about some artists, as usual, because that's what the spotlight is about.
That's literally what we do here.
Yes, exactly. And we're going to be talking about some art news. But before we get into that, Megan, what's going on with your life?
Okay, so I had an interesting last couple days.
Oh, okay.
So, we've been discussing lately on Saturdays how we haven't been able to capture that Saturday vibe, right? Like, it's been really low key, and we try to get people pumped up, and they're just kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
And you can only lead a horse to water, right? Like, you can't carry the whole vibe on your shoulders. Even as an instructor, we try to kind of maneuver it a little bit, but it's ultimately up to our patrons.
Yeah.
Monday night, we had 40 people here.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And they brought the Saturday night vibes. And we were like, what is happening? Right. And it was so cool. Like, I can't name that many events where afterwards I was just riding a high. Especially as an introvert. Like, a lot of extroverts feed off of energy from people. I typically don't. I don't need it. But man, Trinity and I were both like, what was this magic that just happened?
I saw the overview.
Yeah, we had several couples having date nights. We had a couple birthdays. We had families. Like, it was just a good mix.
Oh, wow.
And people were engaged. They were asking questions. Trinity was going around the room the whole time, helping people out. And the paintings turned out great. It was so cool. And so unexpected.
Yeah, that's good. That's great.
It's great.
I'm just surprised because, Mondays are usually pretty chill here at the studio.
Yes. In fact, lately, we've reduced our pricing for Mondays and Tuesdays, which is awesome opportunity to come and hang out with us. And then on the flip side, last night, I had two people. Two. It was great. I didn't even use the mic. I was like, hey, do you need me to go through the intro stuff? They're like, no. I'm like, all right, let's just hang out.
Yeah.
And like, I even asked them, like, do you want me to narrate step by step, or do we want to just kind of work and copy and I'll check in on you? And they're like, no, we'll just chill out and work on this painting. We've never done a car before. I was like, me either. So we're in this together. And it was so satisfying in a completely different way. Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I love this job for that reason.
You know what? I was in your class briefly, and I was just chilling and talking to like the
You
folks.
didn't even want to leave.
Yeah, and I was here at 9:30, and it's like 6 or something. I think your class started.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I liked it.
They're totally different, and it's just 2 days back to back. And you get a completely different experience. And it's what I love about, I've worked retail most of my life, and I worked in a cubicle for like 9 months. And I was like, this is not my jam. I need the variety. I need things to be more stimulating.
I 1000% agree, because I've also had those jobs, and I'm like, I don't want to go back. Because I like to be on my feet. There's like, so that kind of segues into what I want to talk about.
Perfect. Let's segue.
So this is my week. You'll see pictures of the away event that we had. And it was fun because
there was this one.
Yes. There was, I forgot how, 100 and something. 103, I think.
Yeah, because there was 3 of you there, right?
Yeah. So there's definitely 100 kids. And so also when there's events like this, I have my shoes off and I just walk barefooted, just because it's hot and I can, and no one seems to care.
You want to be one with nature?
I get it. I get it.
it.
Yeah. So it was a lovely time, and there's us it rained for like 7 minutes. Out of the blue.
Weird.
There's me chasing a cat, and I chased this cat for a very long time and tried to go meow, meow. And it was not
no go.
And so there was that, and there was a dog at the end. And
why was there a dog?
Because we're out. Oh, actually, this the dog's owner's mom was one of the moms of the kids at the actual event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
better than my dog story. 2 abandoned dogs that I ended up packing up in the Purple Easel van because I'm like, they need somewhere to go.
But that's exactly why this job is so fun. And there's just little miniature adventures that happen when you go on away events. And so for a long time, I've just been stuck at home at the studio. So I've been asking my manager, like, could you put me on more away events? Because I feel like I'm just like, I kind of equate it to like you're a cop and you used to be on the beat, but now you're like
you're stuck behind a desk.
Yes, I'm stuck behind a desk, which is just here at the studio. But I'm like, I want to see Melton's Gandalf. Like, I want to see the dogs and the cats, and I want to walk barefoot. I want to see the kids and like adventures. So there's a lot of adventures when you go on away events here.
There's adventures here at the studio too.
True.
Just fly.
Yes.
That's great, though. I love it. I'm glad you had such a great adventure and 7 minutes of rain.
It was
So
a
weird.
grand old time. So we both had a good week, sounds like.
Yeah.
Cool.
All the cool things at Purple Easel.
Well, I guess we'll get into our news that we were just talking about.
Let's do it.
So, Mamushi is a song collaborated between Meagan Thee Stallion and a popular Japanese artist / rapper, Yuki Chiba. And what I like about these two is that they're bringing like 2 cultures together through song and dance. And so I think Meagan Thee Stallion is like a bard because she's like bringing the things together through song and dance.
Well, considering you call me Meagan Thee Stallion like all the time, I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Yes, very much so. Other Meagan Thee Stallion. But the reason why I bring this up as art news is because, again, like this is 2 different cultures that are being brought together. I like that, especially because Meagan Thee Stallion is like huge into anime. She's like a huge anime nerd.
Interesting, yeah.
She like hosts anime convention, like not conventions, but like awards and stuff like that. She dresses up, and it's really cool to see, especially because in the 90s, you know, like being black and not doing black things, you're always like, why are you not real black? Like liking anime is like a novel, but it's in everything, you know, being into comics and stuff like that. So I'm glad that it's kind of like representation for me as like a black woman to be like, yay, she also likes anime and it's like into things and like Japanese stuff and blah, blah, blah.
Nerdcore. Woo!
Yeah, exactly. So I'm digging the 2 collaborating. And then there's like a dance too. And so like everybody's doing the dance. So I just feel like it's nice little art news bringing.
So we're going to see you on TikTok doing the dance soon?
No.
Oh.
I don't like the dancing, like the trendy ones. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. You just do your own thing.
Yeah.
I get it. Too cool for school. The largest exhibit outside the UK of Winston Churchill's work will be opening in Palm Desert next month with 10 of his works. And I think the coolest part about that is I literally did not know Winston Churchill painted.
No.
Like had never heard that.
No.
Somehow completely missed it. So I thought that was very worthy news. And these are good.
He's like a historical figure, but I've never heard of him painting.
Right.
These are pretty.
They're great. And okay, so the thing that did bother me in the article, they're like, oh yeah, Winston Churchill, amateur painter. And I'm like, well, you got to throw amateur in there.
Yeah.
That's so insulting. Like, I don't think there really is such a thing as amateur painter. Either you paint, like people who come here, right? They dabble in it, do it for fun, whatever. Or you're a painter.
Yeah.
And maybe the line in between is kind of blurry. And it's up to you to kind of determine which side you fall on. But like,
you know, it's like George Bush, like paints apparently.
Yes.
And it's really good.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't call it, like, I know it's not like his like main thing and like obviously, but I feel like he would fall under the category of amateur painters, but also to me, like how you're describing it, I wouldn't consider that amateur either.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting an exhibit, but if you compare it to other work, that could be in a museum just as easily as anything else could. So, I mean, I don't like the amateur label, but good on you, Winston Churchill. He didn't even start painting until he was in his 40s.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Me too.
Yeah.
So I thought that was some nice news.
Very nice. Well, On to other arts-related news.
Yes.
So later this month, I think around the 25th, Jim Carrey is selling a bunch of modern art. It's like art furniture that he carefully curated for 30 years. It's fine. He totally recognizes that he's privileged to buy such things in the first place, but we're going to judge it. Let's judge it.
I'm so glad you picked this because I saw this and I was like, ooh, what's he got? And I was like,
whack.
Good.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, whack. So anyways, we'll go through them though. First one.
I mean, it's cool.
It looks cold.
Right.
It looks like I can't.
Even with the cowhide.
Yes. But then I'm like, okay, is art furniture like this sort of stuff supposed to be like comfortable?
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're really stretching the bounds of design when you do stuff like this, but it totally reminds me of high school. We took a joint field trip. It was the people in photography class and the people in sculpture class, and we went to a junkyard. And the photography students had to take pictures, and the sculpture students had to find found objects. So I took the door off the back of a van, and it was like padded on the bottom portion and had a window on the top portion, turned it sideways, put some pipe fittings on there, and then lead pipes for legs and made it into a bench. But you really couldn't sit on it because it wouldn't hold the weight properly. Yeah. But it looked cool.
Okay.
But I'm like,
really cool of your teacher to do that.
It was a really cool experience, but like kind of useless. but I can talk about it now. So I mean, yeah, there's
so I guess that's kind of these because they're very like.
So has he just had these like stored somewhere?
I don't know.
Or did he have them in his house? Like,
yes.
Okay, I see you, Jim Carrey.
Yeah. This one also looks cold. I don't know what it is about these. They just look cold.
It's interesting. I mean, as an artist, it was fun to manipulate the stone or whatever we got going on here. There's lots of shadow and light, and that's kind of cool.
I will say, if that stool-looking one actually could, because the way it looks like it's going to tip over, but I'm sure it's not going to tip over. If it actually didn't, that's actually
that is
cool.
kind of cool. Yeah,
not going to lie. Next table. It's okay. It's not bad, but like,
I don't understand the bowl. What is this, a urinal? Like, I don't understand what's happening here.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking more cigarette holder or whatever.
Probably better for the middle of the living room. But, it's just weird. Okay,
I think
is that where you put your holy water? Maybe, I don't know.
The mine would go there because of the top for sure. Yeah. And this is, it's all right. I would see it at a museum, not necessarily.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that.
I can see that.
Yeah. And then a meme displaying how I feel about that. Yeah, that's going to be a no for me, dog.
Yeah. I'm with you, Randy Jackson. I'm with you. Ooh, it's been a really rough week for statues.
I did not look into it, but I heard, I saw pictures and I'm like, okay.
So, there were multiple different things that came up. So I just kind of lumped them all together. The Sadako Sasaki statue, which is, we discussed during the origami episode. She's the little girl who got leukemia from the A-bomb and made 1,000 paper cranes.
Yeah.
Her statue, straight up stolen from a Seattle park. Just gone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Probably so the bronze can be melted down and somebody can make some quick cash. Yay. Yay for that.
That's a thing.
That's a thing. My dad's high school, it's been open forever in LA. He's Inglewood, Morningside High. And they've finally said that they were going to close it down and move the students to the other high school. And so this summer, somebody went in and stole all the piping and all the wiring.
Oh, whoa.
And now they don't have a place for those students because they were going to go another year.
Yeah.
And it's a disaster. People be people in.
Dang, that's
Speaking
crazy.
of, at the University of Houston, a statue was beheaded.
And I heard they were keep it up, right?
Yes. So the artist is that just speaks to the power of my work. So yes, leave it just like that.
Nice.
So, okay. And then, a Poseidon sculpture in Mexico has been canceled.
Why? Why Poseidon?
Because it's Poseidon, and they say that the Mayan gods are very angered. In fact, that's probably why Hurricane Beryl happened.
Okay.
So they are closing the sculpture and will probably remove it. And it really just says, like, there's a time and place for everything. Yes. And I think it's a beautiful sculpture, and I think it's super cool. It's coming out of the ocean all triumphant. But wrong place. Just the wrong place.
Interesting.
Yeah. So these sculptures are kind of going by way of wax Lincolns. So.
Yeah. The statues are going through it.
Yes, they are. They're having a tough time out there.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Okay.
So today we're going to be talking about Gustave Moreau.
Ooh.
Yes, and I kind of got a little dressed up for it because I don't know.
You looking cute.
Thanks. But Gustave Moreau was a French artist born in 1898. He was an important figure and forerunner for the symbolist movement. This other important figure, John Cassou, which I believe is a poet, called Gustave the symbolist painter par excellence.
Ooh, fancy title.
Right? Art historians also have nothing but great words to say about Gustave. They're like, he did symbolism before symbolism was a thing. When I was doing my research on Gustave, it was I want to say mostly, but there was just a huge portion of like fangirl poets. Yeah. Art historians, like, he's the best. He's great. He foreran this. He's a forerunner. He spearheaded this and that. So
go Gustave,
right? So also wanted to share the reason why I chose Gustave Moreau is because I love symbolism and mysticism, and it's kind of esoteric in a way. And in my research, I saw how he inspired other artists that, like, I know or I've seen in the world.
Going back to the roots.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
And you know how, like, I like my chart reading and stuff like that?
I know.
Yeah.
That's so Cancer moon of you, Lily.
I do say that. I feel bad when I say that. But yes, I'm very much into the symbols, the dream interpretations and all that stuff. So Moreau painted allegories, traditional biblical and mythical subjects favored by the fine art academies. Though he was not a practicing Christian, he valued the deep spiritual beliefs that I very much resonate with that. I'm not like a Christian, but I like Jesus aesthetic. Okay, Jesus aesthetic. I know. My fiance's like, there's no Jesus aesthetic. What do you mean?
There is now.
Yeah. He was also an aloof kind of person, very independent, but became fashionable in high society and was taken up in Masonic and occult circles. However, he was very much a recluse. He didn't have a wife and kids. He stayed at home. Was not about like, he was just very recluse from what I understand.
Not about that public life.
No, not at all. But I also didn't want to bore you with the facts. And I want to let's look at pretty pictures because there was a lot. There was a lot of information on this guy. Because he's the goat.
Because he's the goat, yeah.
So, all right. The first one that I want to talk about is Salome dancing before Herod. And
it's so epic.
It's very epic. So made in 1876, it took him 7 years to paint this. And this is from the New Testament of Salome and Herodias dancing before Herod Antipas. But like, when I look at it, I'm thinking, did he have just like one little hairbrush? Because there's so the detail,
right?
The detail is so much.
Wow. Like the bracelet around her arm, you can tell is like metalwork, scrolling.
And it just looks and feels like metal. You can see the little shiny bits of everything. You can feel the cloth. It's so realistic. It's so detailed. The detail's what
it's so detailed but soft at the same time. And oftentimes details make things sharp, you know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of a nice contrast.
Also, we're looking at the image kind of ginormous, but if you were to kind of scale it down, it looks like this little area right here at the top kind of looks like eyes. I don't know. It kind of, if you were to see it in a smaller image, you can see some of these brighter colors pop.
Yes.
A lot.
I can see that. Yeah, just the little hints of blue scattered about.
And look, there's a little lion, little cat there at the bottom, and a bunch of flower petals. And this is one of those. He's one of those artists where I could just like look. It's like, where's Waldo?
Yeah.
Because you're just constantly
finding all the little things.
Yeah, all the little bits.
Cool.
So the next one is Hercules, and the Lernian Hydra.
Ooh.
So the thing about this one is, allegedly. Also, I just want to say shout out to him because I did not see man junk. And he covers up the man junk, I feel like, a lot. If there's a naked man, covered. I don't know. I was like, thank you for that. But the Hydra, of course, has many heads. There's the blood that's coming from some of the mouths, and it's poisonous blood. And on the left, you have Hercules, and he's supposed to look super bright, but he stands out.
Yeah.
He's like one of the main figures.
He's the hero.
Yes, exactly. But the image itself is pretty cool because it looks like this battle's about to happen, but it's very still and kind of eerie at the same time.
The calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Like he's just posed perfectly, but not quite like ready to engage.
Yeah.
He's not quite there yet. He's like one step prior or whatever. It's very cool. I love this like height of the Hydra.
Me too.
Normally with all the heads, it kind of goes out.
Outward, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a kind of fun play on it. Very cool.
We love it. We love it.
We do. We do.
Here's Jacob and the angel. And so, from the book of Genesis, where Jacob is on his way to Canaan, he wrestles with an angel. Gustave wanted to show the contrast of human fighting with a superior being. This is also an allegory of the struggle between humans and moral strength. So he wanted to show, even though it's kind of shown awkwardly, but he wanted to show, like, this is how stupid it would look to fight against this.
Like, why? Why would you even do it?
Yeah.
The angel's gonna win.
Yeah.
Sorry to break it to you.
And the angel's also like
we dealing with this again. The plebs, come on. I love the iconography here, the halo. That's so cool. Not only do you have the ring, which is common in more classic art, but this like sunburst situation is really neat.
Yeah, even like the little details on the rings have like kind of this bejeweledness of it. And again, I just like all the embellishments that are on the cloth.
Clothing, yeah.
Again, covered up junk. We love that.
Those are some really long toes, though. Look at that angel's toes.
Oh,
they look like hands.
You know, yeah, they do. I didn't even see that before.
I mean, I have pretty long toes, but that's something else.
Yes, and also what I love about his work is the compositions. I love all of his compositions. I feel like compositions are on point.
A lot of those classic art, they paid a lot more attention to composition than I think current artists do.
Yeah, I agree with that. So this is the infant Moses, and we see him here at the very bottom, floating down the Nile River, ruins of Egyptian statues in the background. So Moses' enlightenment is the new, kind of like out with the old. So this image here is like, yeah, that was the past. Egyptian gods, Egyptian.
Bye.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, the Sphinx chilling.
But again, I love how bright the sky is, how everything's dark. But
all these little flowers in the water.
You really get a sense of the background being a background. Yeah. It's like I don't know if that made any sense, but it
reminds me of like Sleeping Beauty. Ivan Earl kind of like really soft, lush, well-developed kind of background.
Yes. Yeah, the
and
background
then just
is almost the foreground, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's so pretty to look at on its own.
It could be just the top part.
Right. If you just took Moses out of there, it would still like...
Yeah, absolutely. The contrast is what's great to me. How dark this like side of the castle walls, or I guess not a castle in Egypt, but you know, temple.
Yeah, look at the little faces.
Very cool.
Too.
Yeah, do you see? Wait. There's an eye. Do you see the eye?
Oh, yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't even see that at first.
So also one thing I like about this artist and the one we'll bring on later is I almost wanted to play a game of like, how many faces can you find? How many faces can you find in the background?
Always playing games with, oh yeah, I see another one. Okay, wow. I can stare at this for a while. All right.
And so we have the creme de la creme. And arguably, some of his pieces, our historians are like, this is that shit. This is, we're eating that up. Delicious. And yes, and they will say the same about this next one, Jupiter and Semele. For me, personally, that's that shit. This is delicious. Can't get enough of it. So it's only, I think, 6 feet tall. But I'm going to just slowly have you look real quick just look at it.
How long did this take? This is like Sistine Chapel level detail. There is so much happening.
And so, okay, here's the tea on this painting.
Yeah.
So it depicts a classical myth of a mortal woman, Semele, essentially getting killed by Jupiter's presence. So the lore is Jupiter's wife, Juno, was like, oh, so you want to meet my husband? And Semele's like, yeah, I want to meet Jupiter. And they're like, okay. And Jupiter's like, okay.
She can't handle it.
Correct. And so this painting is like a representation of divinized, there we go. Divinized physical love, to simply put, like, it's orgasmic. So this is supposed to be like, and then die. Like the splendor of it. This is the presence of Jupiter's.
You're just overwhelmed with the presence. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
And so what I did is on my computer, it was so big.
You chop it up.
I chopped it up. So we're going to look at the images. And this isn't even all of them. Why? Wow.
Why are there so many people hiding? Oh my gosh.
So look at these.
I know, the cloth, the tile, the like relief sculpture, the column. Yeah. This is insane.
You know, and I wonder what it looked like when it was freshly made.
I know.
Freshly made.
Oh yeah. Man. I bet the colors were so much more vibrant.
There's little faces right in here. Yeah. They're like looking at Jupiter. These background people.
Where they turned to stone like Medusa because they couldn't handle Jupiter.
This little face right here.
Oh my gosh, there's so many faces. This is so crazy. Wow.
Yeah,
Jupiter's pretty scary, I'm not gonna lie. It's the beady eyes for me.
Yeah,
it's just like very intense.
Yeah. I want to say that's also, what are these little things? Are these UFOs? Not actual UFOs, but they're like little floating angel.
Yeah, well, what's Jupiter's the Roman, right? What is the Roman Hermes?
Oh, messenger god.
Yeah. Kind of looks like them.
Look at all this fruit. Anyways, yeah, just in general.
Yeah. Very abundant. Like, this is what you would think of as where the gods would be for sure.
And also just want to have you take note of this angel right here for future references. But yeah. But wait, there's more.
Of course there is.
Because I want to say that I've seen this. When I saw this, I was like, Kanye West. Kanye West did a music video in 2010 called Power. And it's like just a short little music video. And it starts with his face and it just slowly zooms out. It's actually really pretty. But at the end, this is kind of where you're at until this kind of battle takes place. But I was like, I get it. I think it's kind of like a remix of that. And then also I see this little angel girl right here.
Yeah.
Her wings and everything's in slow motion. So all the stuff that you see happening is just like very much in slow motion.
Yeah.
And I also like that there's like these people that are splashing water on their face because I feel like that feeling is very like refreshing. And
right.
kind of, like, very much kind of like
the
vibe that you get when all of this orgasmic stuff just happens. But anyways,
wow.
I was just like, this Kanye. Kanye took from the
Right on.
Semele. But also, I want to bring in another image of this picture that I used to see all the time. So I dated a guy.
Really?
And that's all you need to know.
Okay. Story's done.
Yeah.
I love it.
But he had this on his wall.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
And I think you don't have to be high to appreciate it.
No?
There was so much to look at. And I looked at it for years and I just loved it so much.
It has that ethereal, fantastic, like the little gnomey dudes and
there's like
the fairy chick.
And there's little hidden gnomes places.
Yeah.
You got suns and moons.
And a very large pot plant.
And yes, they're harvesting.
Yeah.
I think the name of
I mean, they're very happy.
Oh, yeah.
Look at how happy that sun is.
My eyes would always gravitate back to the sun.
Oh, and there's a moon too, just chilling. Boy.
And like a kind of
like bubbly
also sun, but not as wackadoo.
Extra planet or extra sun, maybe. Maybe it's like Star Wars. Multiple suns.
Tatooine.
Yeah. I just started watching Obi-Wan. Finally.
Oh, okay.
Watched the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Great.
Why did I wait so long? Well, it's great.
It is great, and especially the end.
I can't wait. But like, we've never explored this before. Like, we're really getting to know Obi-Wan on another level.
Yeah.
Even Leia as a kid, like none of this has ever been touched. So yeah, sorry. Super tangent, geek stuff. What can you say?
That's totally fine. But also an artist, which I will cover eventually. I just love him so much. He's a Japanese artist, Yoshitaka Amano. And he literally, so first of all, Yoshi, he is the artist for like all the Final Fantasy games.
Okay.
Also like drew for Vampire Hunter D, But in an interview, he literally said Gustave's style, like he very much adopted that style when he was trying to find his own style. He mimicked Gustave's style. And I see it. If you play the games, when I was doing my research on Gustave, I was like, Final Fantasy. Because I've seen this kind of fantastical gods, because he takes a lot of religious gods and mythologies, puts them in the game. Not that he creates the games, but it's
right.
A lot of that is in the game. And him being inspired by Gustave, you get all these crazy like embellishments and greatness. It seems like greater, like larger than life kind of vibe that you get from the game.
Very cool.
Yeah. So anyways, this is one of his pieces.
Ooh.
But yeah, there's always this kind of whimsical grandness about it. So back to Gustave real quick, though. During his lifetime, he produced more than 15,000 paintings, watercolors, and drawings. When he died, he still owed about 1,700 paintings and watercolors and about 10,000 drawings, which he left to the French Republic and his house. They're still there. It's a museum now.
And yet, you want to burn your sketchbooks with you.
I sure do. I know, I literally thought about that after seeing this.
Don't burn his house down, please. All the work. That's crazy. Every inch of wall is just covered.
You know that's got to be awesome.
Cool to have that kind of collection. Man.
So Gustave never had to make money off of his work. So that allowed him to fully be like immersed in his visions, and
he wasn't dependent on it.
No, so that's why.
Nice.
Right, that's what I thought.
He could play. Yeah, he could spend 7 years on a painting. I wonder if he like jumped between different projects a lot.
I'm assuming
you'd have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd live for a very, very long time if you did that many paintings and they took that long.
No, I thought the same.
Wow.
So one had to be an above average intelligence at the time to truly understand the detail and aspects of his painting, because as we all know,
so much symbolism and stuff. Yeah.
Didn't have access. And in fact, all they had really to reference things were just like, they didn't have picture books at that time. It was just words. So he took a lot of like biblical things and mythology and made images off of them. So we could finally see what it would
things
look
that
like.
people have known about, but not been able to visualize.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'll leave a quote. It's just a piece of a quote from Jean Lorrain. He's also a poet, of course.
All the poets.
Yes, they loved him. A visionary like none other, he made the land of dreams his own, but from madness of his dreams, a sense of anguish and despair found its way into his works. A master sorcerer, he cast a spell over his period, enthralled his contemporaries, and brought a tinge of idealism to the skeptical and practical fin de siècle, which is French for like, not end of the century, but kind of like the flavor of the century.
Okay.
That kind of makes any sense.
Wow. Dude is pretty epic.
Yeah.
That's an awesome choice. I approve.
So I hope you guys learn a little bit more about Gustave. Check it out because it's there was so much I wanted to put on, but you know, we have to.
Yeah, it's so hard to limit sometimes. It's so hard. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. I love it.
So we will talk about, every time we do this, I'm like, let's go to the moon. Let's go to the moon. Grab ourselves some snacks. Only old people recognize that.
Time for some concessions.
Yes.
Some Purple Easel concessions.
Yes. So as you may know, we work here at Purple Easel, but I wanted to share a lovely, actually quick, little easy Yelp review. Short and sweet. That's how I kind of feel about this one.
Yeah.
Shout out to Karina G from Harbor City. She says, visited this place yesterday and can only say great things. The staff is super friendly and the location itself is lively and just feels inviting. The class is taught at a great pace and the teachers are super supportive. We definitely are going to be going back. So
Cool.
like, that's good. Like,
Love seeing that.
had a great time. Place was inviting. People were good.
We were good hosts.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
I love seeing that.
I do too.
I like that bit about a good pace.
Me too.
And that's something we were just talking about, me and Miranda the other day too, is sometimes it's hard because you have people who are there to have fun and socialize, and that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But they tend to fall behind because they're a little more focused on that than following along. It's whatever. It's however they want to experience the night, right? But you have to kind of, as an instructor, measure, okay, if we're waiting on one person, we got to keep going, you know? If everybody's still working on something, then okay, let's slow it down a little bit. And that's the thing about these events is they're alive. And no two events are the same. Even if the painting is the same, even if the instructor is the same, it is like there's a certain magic that happens as you're observing and checking in with people and kind of dictating the pace that we go. And it's like the feedback is so important. It's just that loop of continuous.
No, that's very true. That's actually so accurate that no, like two events, even if it's the same painting, it's the same. In fact, that's so strange because so Yoshi taught a painting yesterday and I taught that one, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago or something. My kids, well, I had more kids, but my kids are a little bit more crazy, but I also kind of gave them like more like, you could do this and that.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing. You kind of have to go with the flow when you're on a wave events because some of the teachers are like, no, like it has to be.
They have to do this.
They have to do this, yeah. Some teachers are like, yeah, go ahead and do whatever.
Yeah.
But they all did the same painting. Like it was your flip-flop one. You're at the beach.
Yeah. That one's so customizable.
Yeah.
It's fun.
That's what I was like, because it's so customizable.
Yeah.
I did heart-shaped glasses on mine. And then some kids did stars, hearts, like whatever.
Yep.
Different colors.
Different color flip-flops, different designs on the beach ball. Yeah. And I love that. And Trinity just called it out, actually. She's like, I love how you tell them at the very beginning to experiment, to go their own way. Because otherwise they kind of sit there and they're like, must do what is being directed. But I try to say, here's an area where you could kind of do something. I give a few suggestions, you know, and I just love when people run with it and do different stuff. It's so much fun as an instructor.
Yeah, it very much is. We don't want to see us instructor. We don't want to see, we want you to have fun, but we like it when you do something different because we don't like want to see the cookie cutter. Like
Exactly. Like nobody wants to go in a neighborhood and all the houses look exactly the same.
Yeah.
That's boring.
But yeah, I was surprised that the kids were like they did good. They did great, but they were very much like, they did everything. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Cool.
But anyways, my point of bringing that up is that even though they're the two paintings, the classes were different.
Yep. That'll happen.
But anywho, you want to make sure, of course, as usual, to follow us. Shout out to, I think last I checked was 66 subscribers. I don't know. So that's
Moving
really
on
cool,
up.
right? So shout out to you guys. Thank you very much for liking. Make sure to share, ring that bell, add to the conversation. We love when you guys communicate with us.
Yes, it's so validating.
Yeah.
We got a comment. We got a comment.
We like are in a group text, like, oh my gosh. So if you want to be in our group text,
Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
yeah, keep it coming. All right. So I'm going to spotlight Josephine Wall.
Woo.
When you see her artwork, you're going to realize, oh yeah, that makes sense that you live in a cottage. I don't know. Not in a mean way. I was just like, oh yeah, you should live. Like, super cute. She was in a cute little cottage.
Aww.
She's like such a fairy girl. She's an older lady, but I love her artwork, and it's one of those artworks where she's highly intentional with every flower. The reason why she's painting this specific flower, using this specific color, using this specific symbol. She's very like, there's a reason why I'm doing all of this.
That's cool.
High symbolism. This one is going to be Libra, of course, because...
Hey! Thank you. Thank you.
So let's catch the symbolism. Look, there's two faces right there already. We got a large face right there. Large face right there. We got one pointing downward, one pointing up, one closed eye, one open eye.
Wow, I didn't even see those at first. That's crazy.
And our animals are even different. They're like cooler, kind of icy animals, and then more like tropical hot animals. And striking the balance. I think she says in this one, how do you keep everything in balance?
Wow. You don't is the answer. You try, but you don't.
You try very hard. But yes, I love how whimsical her art is. It's very so magical. And of course, she, a lot of her art is in oracle cards. And I want to say that also about Gustave is when I was also looking at Gustave's work, I'm like, oracle cards. These are oracle cards to me. They're so high in symbolism. I see them as like, you can use them as a divination tool.
Yeah.
If I had pictures of them, I could be like,
you fool.
Also, speaking of which, I will say that, I will just bring this up. I do have Josephine Wall's artwork in a oracle card. Now, here's the thing that I want to say real quick about oracle cards. I like them. I'm not like a tarot reader kind of chick, but I like this deck because it tells you very simple things like drink water, get to sleep.
Hey.
Like very health-related things. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, cool. I like the deck because it's like drink your water.
Are oracle cards like tarot cards in that you shouldn't touch somebody else's? I heard that's a thing, right? Because it's your vibes are on it.
I don't subscribe to it.
Okay. Just
there's some people who say like, oh, don't touch my crystals. They don't like their
just
touch them. I'm like, bitch,
but then there's also people who don't want other people to touch their prayer cards too, or their rosary or anything. It's just kind of something that's special in yours. And
I think it depends on the individual.
Yeah.
I'd say. Because I've touched my friend's tarot cards and stuff, but she didn't care.
Okay.
So the next one is this lovely picture. Now, check this out. Take a look at it real quick. And she says, would you accept this rose? Now, think about it. Look at the symbolism.
The Bachelor? Is that what we're doing?
Is that
Will you accept this rose?
Oh, okay. I forgot because I didn't watch The Bachelor. Okay.
I've seen a couple.
So what did you think? Do you think that she should accept this rose based off of the picture?
I mean, Cupid's in on it, so... I don't know if she really has much of a choice.
Okay. The way I read this is that this is deceiving because her back is turned.
Yes.
And getting shot in the back is never a good thing.
Right.
And
she doesn't know what's coming.
Yeah, it's a mystery person. He looks good.
Yeah, nice mask.
Mask, exactly. That mask
Who knows
is
what's underneath.
Exactly. Got this kind of like nice whimsical, magical scenery, location. Also got some faces. We got some little...
What?
Yeah.
Wow. What?
And also, there's a face also in this petal right here at the bottom. Right?
Oh my gosh.
So you will find lots of faces and just like the little swirly patterns that you see around. Looks like there's a celebration. There's like fireworks on the top left corner. But I like, again, her artwork because there's so much to... She's very intentional.
Yeah.
On what even kind of rose that
I
is.
love all the like textures, the hair texture, the pearl textures, this veil situation going on. It's very cool.
And those textures also kind of remind me of Gustave because it's very textury.
Yes. All those little details.
All right, this next one, I don't think, because she says the craftsman is so busy with his work that perhaps he hasn't noticed his tiny little creations have come to life and they're entertaining themselves in his workshop. So here's what I like about this image per se, is he's got a little sore on his hand, which means to me that he's not thinking about his health. He's not thinking about himself. He's
just in the work.
Yeah, he's just completely into the work that he can't even see the fun around him, the mystery and all the cool stuff. Anyways, but I just like the little symbolism.
Too hyper-focused.
Yeah, too hyper-focused on that one.
Cool.
This one, I don't think there's words. It's just pretty.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Now check this out.
Is she like a goddess of wisdom?
Because
the owl mask.
The owl
really
mask,
makes
and
me
check
think.
there's 3 owls.
Oh, yeah.
Right here. We also have owl wings right here as well. So one would assume that this is very much.
And then there's a lot of moth stuff too. All the like
butterfly or moths.
Wings and down.
Kind of looking down. Now, I don't know if our producer is going to be able to find all these faces. So I'm going to use the arrow. There's a face right here.
Ooh, yeah.
There's 2 faces back to back right here.
Actually, yeah. Okay.
2 faces right there. I feel like I found another face somewhere, but I just forgot where it is. But I did find 2 faces or 3 faces.
There's so many layers. So much is happening.
Right? And I feel like her images are easy. Some oracle cards, I'm like, I don't know what this means. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because with oracle cards, the difference between tarot is there's tarot and there's meaning behind all of the cards. There's like 72 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oracle cards, you can gather from the image what you will.
More interpretive.
Yeah, it's more interpretive. So I feel like it's easier for me. Like you said, you got wisdom, you got owls, there's 3 of them. And 3 is going to be common when it comes to esoteric stuff because of like the Son, the Father, Holy Spirit, Trinity situation.
Wow. Okay. Not gonna lie though, that island reminds me of the opening screen of Pokemon Snap.
Hey, that's nice. It's pretty.
Yeah. I'm here for the nostalgia.
Noise. And this
Bubbles.
one, I think is called, let's see, it says, this one is called Seasons of Life. And as you can see, traces our journey from birth onward. Each season makes a new chapter in life. I hope you are making the most of whichever one you're in.
Cool. We got the tree of life with the little baby.
Right? It's kind of like
everything is kind of fleeting.
Yeah. Like little memories.
Wow.
Maybe looking back on some of the past things you've done in the past. And it's just whimsical because it's bubbles.
It is. It's so whimsical. But even within the bubbles, each little scene is beautiful.
Yeah. It's like its own little painting.
There's a lot of butterflies, transformation. Wow.
I know, it's so pretty.
It's so pretty. And I love this, like, is that a bubble or is that a moon or a planet or something?
Right.
That's so cool.
The snowflake doing the bubble is at like winter time. So I have a question for you, but before I get into the question,
okay,
we're going to do a little reading for you.
Boy.
So what I want you to do is we're going to do a little spread. And we're going to place these cards.
They're so pretty. It looks like alcohol ink.
Yeah, it does. I'll put some of these closer to you. You can cut this out. Okay, good.
What do I do?
We'll wait. Are we ready?
Yeah.
So we're going to give Meagan a little reading, or rather, you're going to give yourself a reading.
Oh, Jeebus.
So what I want you to do is I want you to hover your hand over the cards, and I want you to, take a nice deep breath and think about which card pops out. Which card speaks to you?
None of them, no. This one.
All right, you got Can't read.
Yep, that one.
Oh, hydrate. I need more water.
Yeah. Yeah, that checks out. I can see that.
So yeah.
That's amazing.
Is it really? I know you came in here with a soda. Okay.
What other ones are there?
Oh, there's
so cool. Just give me like 2 more. I just want to see.
Do you want to pick them yourself? Or
No. I just want to see some examples. This is so cool.
All right, we have barriers.
With the dragon? Is that a dragon?
This is well-being. Well-being. Yeah, a dragon. Yeah. And well-being.
Wow, the art is so pretty.
Yeah, no, I also like got it obviously for the art.
It's great. Yeah. It's great.
So yeah, if you want just the art, if you like to just look at pretty pictures.
But it's so cool. It's just all these little like affirmation kind of things.
Yeah,
Cool.
They're not gonna tell you like your ex is stalking you on Instagram or something weird. Which they probably are, but
I mean, chances are you always need to hydrate. So I mean,
you're right. That's why I like the cards. They're very practical. They're like, yeah. Or I'll get one that's like sleep better. I'm like, sleep more. I'm like, yeah.
That checks.
Checks out.
Amazing.
So thank you for participating.
That's great. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing.
So I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So what artist makes you feel close to the divine?
Oh, geez.
Whatever that means to you. Or artist.
I'm trying to, it's hard to pinpoint a specific artist, but I would say anything that has that kind of iconography or even the like whimsical stuff. Because I mean, divine can mean a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Divine can be internal too. And there's something kind of beautiful and magical. It doesn't have to be actual magic to be magical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can find magic everywhere, whether you're like witchy magic or whatever. It doesn't have to be like that, you know? It's just...
It'd be like clouds.
Yeah.
Clouds very like...
Yeah, absolutely. They're just nature in general. Nature. Anything of nature really kind of grounds me and connects me. And because it's all
part of nature.
Yeah, we all feed into it. And it's that universal kind of... There's words I can't think of right now.
We won't be able to describe.
I'm tiptoeing around whatever it is that it is. I don't know. I think a lot of more natural or whimsical, fairy-ish fantasy. Maybe that's why I read fantasy a lot. I mean, it's human nature, but then there's also another element, that unknownness, you know?
Yeah.
So...
Okay. Yeah, my fiance.
That's a terrible answer. I'm sorry.
No, I think it's a good one because I think a lot of people think that way and feel that way. That's why they play games like Final Fantasy or read like fantasy books, or like my fiance paints a lot of fantasy, which is interesting because I wouldn't consider myself to be a witch. I don't know. I just like esoteric things.
Yeah,
I like weird things, and I'm into them, but I believe them to be real. Ian's the opposite. I'm like, as much fantasy as you paint, you would think that you believe in fairies and stuff like that.
I want to believe in fairies, damn it, and so I do. Like, that's just how it works.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm more of an actual believer of magic. He paints great magic.
Yeah.
He believes I'm more like, no, it is. The fairies are real.
It's kind of like aliens to me, right? Yeah. Like, chances are, just mathematically speaking, statistically, like we're not the end all be all, right?
Have we seen them? No.
Yeah, right, exactly. Are they visiting? I don't know. Are we worth their time? That remains to be seen. So, I mean, there's so many mysteries in life, and I have faith in certain things, and I just choose to indulge myself in something that makes me happy, and it's not hurting anybody else. Then I feel like it doesn't matter.
Exactly. So the moral of today's episode is you got to have a faith. And we want to thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode.
Make sure to check out the links below for today's artists. We've got Gustave and Josephine.
Thank you guys so much. And if you're ever interested in Southern California, be sure to swing by the studio.
Yeah, you want to. Otherwise, you can go to purpleeasel.com to paint with the largest online community. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, create more and create often.
Bye.